All right, and we are live. Welcome to a Gauntlet Hangouts event. We're playing Cthulhu Dark Green, and with it we're playing a scenario for Delta Green called Music from a Darkened Room by Dennis Detwiller. And with me I have three wonderful people. Among them, the famous Justin Ford, creator of Cthulhu Dark Green.
Wow.
That was quite an introduction. Justin, anything else? My name, by the way, is Horst. You see him pronouns. And Justin, please introduce yourself.
My name is Justin Ford, also known on Twitter as Dissonance at Mothlands. You see him pronouns. This game is actually up for free on sale today for Free RPG Day. So go ahead and grab it at on my itch.io account, which you can find by following my Twitter. I hope you all enjoy.
Awesome. Justin, you have a terrible sound, I have to say. Can you fix something with your microphone?
Hopefully. Let me try.
And then we have Kyle. Kyle, can you say something about yourself? You're muted.
Sorry. I'm Kyle, he, him. Pretty new to the Gauntlet. First time I've played a Cthulhu Dark game, or a hack, so looking forward to that.
Cool, awesome. And then we have the incredible Puckett. Say something about yourself.
Hi, I'm Puckett, he, him pronouns. Most of the characters I play don't survive these games. I think that's the noteworthy thing.
Yeah, I can definitely say that this is absolutely true. I had a great time playing with Puckett in the last two Cthulhu Dark Green games. And what I'm saying is, while Justin is dealing with the sound problem, let's have Puckett introduce his character and maybe say a word as well about her, like how she lives, where she lives, and a word or two about her anchor.
Today I'll be playing Carly Jackson, she, her. Her agent name is Moss. She is a CIA agent who has, I hesitate to say a knack, but who tends to survive bad things that other people don't. And as a result, people kind of shy away from her. Her anchors are her ex-wife, not because her ex-wife is still present in her life, but because she thinks of herself as a protector, doing things that need to be done so that other people can just live their lives and not have to know about the things that she does. That's why her nephew, Mike Jackson, is one of her anchors. And her last anchor is her CIA handler, Randall Holloway.
And let's have a small vignette about the relationship between Carly and one of her anchors. Which one would you pick?
Oh, definitely Mike. I mean, Mike Jackson, her nephew, is the only one who really allows her to kind of demonstrate her humanity. I mean, her ex-wife isn't in the picture. She just thinks about her as something that she sacrificed to protect. And her handler would probably say, yeah, you need to not go on ops anymore if you're going to be this soft and squishy.
And can you describe Matthew a little bit? Oh, sorry, Mike.
Yeah, Mike's about 10 years old. He likes dinosaurs. He also likes giraffes. He likes going to the zoo. Since this is 2005, I'm going to say he's probably pretty heavy into the Pokemon card game. And he in fact does have a favorite Pokemon, and he expects his aunt to know what it is. and is frequently disappointed in her when she doesn't remember. It's Bulbasaur, for the record.
Kyle, do you feel competent enough to play a Pokemon-loving 10-year-old?
Yes, I can do that.
Cool. So, yeah, Scott, set the scene. Where would you meet your nephew?
Saturday morning, about 8:30 a.m. in a suburb outside Washington, D.C., where she is picking him up to take him to the National Zoo. Because, I mean, for him, his idea of a perfect Saturday is either going to the zoo or getting a few packs of Pokemon cards. And that's like either or, whichever. But she's going to take him to see the zoo because he likes giraffes. And I mean, how can you not like giraffes? Look at those necks. Look at the spots, right? So
it's a beautiful autumn morning. The two of you, stroll through the zoo. Is it? Are you holding hands?
He's a 10-year-old boy. What 10-year-old boy would hold hands with an aunt?
That's true. And you're passing the giraffe. I don't know what is it called. The place where the giraffes are.
Probably an enclosure. I mean, it's got to be probably a little bit bigger than normal because they're larger animals.
And yeah, how does your character engage with Mike? What do we see?
I have a sneaking suspicion that they are both sipping some lemonade or some kind of soft drink or something like that she picked out, that she got for them at one of the vendors. So which one's your favorite, Mike?
Dr. Pepper.
Well, I was talking about the giraffes, but I'm glad to know that you're not a fan of Coca-Cola anymore. I mean, Coke is the drink of the death squads,
Oh, my favorite giraffe. That's that one over there. The one who's eating. You can see the cud is like moving all the way down the neck, down to the belly, and it's moving all the way back up. They're like cows. They gotta like puke up in their mouth to chew some more. It's so cool.
Puke up in their mouth to chew some more. I mean, well, that's kind of close to Pikachu, isn't it? Your favorite Pokemon?
No, Carly, it's not Pikachu, and it's not even like Pikachu. It's no, I and Bulbasaur photosynthesizes. Bulbasaur doesn't puke.
Mike, there's so many Pokemon that it's kind of hard for me to keep them all.
There's only 156.
That's 155 more than I care about. I want to know the one you like so that, like, if I see something if I see something cool, maybe I can grab it for you. And I know I kind of screwed up in the past because I brought you I don't even remember which one it was. Like looked kind of like a fox. I mean,
Eevee. It was Eevee, the worst Pokemon.
I already said I was sorry.
It's okay.
I'm trying to do better.
Thank you. Just look for the Pokemon with a plant on its back. If it's got a plant on its back, I'll probably like it.
There's only one with a plant on its back?
Well, no, but I mean, most of the ones with plants on their back are Bulbasaur or Ivysaur or Venusaur.
So I'll at least be close enough if I get one with a plant on its back. Okay. That's good to know. I'll trying to remember that. I'll file that away. But Mike, I kind of got something special for you today.
Ooh, what?
So walk with me over here.
I follow along.
I walk up to a zookeeper and kind of nod and flash my badge, and he kind of grins. Says, "Yeah, I heard you'd be dropping by today, so walk this way." And the zookeeper leads us through a locked door and takes us into a room where there is a baby giraffe nursing.
Mike like lets out like an excited squeal and then like hushes himself to try to not disturb the baby giraffe, and it's just like visibly like practically dancing in his spot.
And the giraffe is kind of shaky, and like, you know, the legs are a little bit wobbly, and it kind of looks at Mike. And then with its really long tongue kind of licks its face a little bit.
Mike is just loving every moment of this. It's adorable.
So I know I forgot your favorite Pokemon again, but does this kind of make up for it a little bit?
Absolutely. Thank you, Aunt Carly. You're the best.
And I think, Horst, unless you have something else that you'd like to do, that's probably a good place to cut.
That was absolutely beautiful, and I adore Kyle's knowledge of Pokemon. I hope I said that wrong. Right.
Well, if you said it wrong, that would actually be in keeping with the game.
You're playing Tom Johnson, the anthropologist. What can you tell us about Tom?
So I think Tom was just a civilian working civilian anthropologist just working on their say master's thesis or something, and stumbled across while researching like folklore and like backwoods US, stumbled across like a Cthulhu cult or something and bumped into the Delta Green group and survived, so they recruited him.
And you showed the talent of not dying. Welcome.
And which of your bonds would you like to highlight?
I'm thinking my therapist, Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm thinking Tom has been seeing her since like before he got into Delta Green. Like she was his therapist back when it was just regular grad school stuff, and now I secretly fight monsters.
Let's see. All right, so I think Kyle, we have the scene now. So what can you tell us about Ashley then?
I think she's like fairly young too. Like I was probably one of her first patients after she got licensed. And
like how her demeanor, or like
generally, I guess pretty friendly about it and stuff. Like we've been, you know, like I've been like seeing her, like she's been my therapist for years, so we're like pretty friendly, I guess, like used
How
to
old
each
is
other.
she?
Let's say like 26.
Wow.
So
she's 26 and she's a licensed counselor? Are you talking like LCSW, psychotherapist, psychologist?
LCSW, I think.
All right.
Is that implausibly young? I don't know too much about that.
Probably better to say like early 30s. Because I mean, there's still, you have undergrad and grad school, so it's like 7 years.
And you've seen her for some time, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with like 31 then.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And it would be a therapy session. All right, cool. So you enter her, what would you call it, the praxis?
Just the office.
The
Yeah.
office.
Things have been going well. I had that out of town conference thing I had to go to, but that was a little stressful, but it went okay. There were some there were some rough parts, but it all went pretty well on the whole.
What kind of rough parts would you have at a conference? I mean, were you presenting a paper or something like that? I mean, how can a conference be rough?
Just ran into some people I didn't expect to see there. Some unexpected surprises that were a bit more stressful than I expected, but it worked out.
Why was it stressful?
Oh, just sometimes you meet some people at conferences and they're intimidating and stuff. They're not what you expect, and they're just a little intimidating.
Well, did they do something that intimidated you? What was it about them that was intimidating?
Oh, they just came on a little strong, and I wasn't sure what they wanted, but it worked out. We took care of it.
And how did you take care of it?
Oh, I had some friends there, and we talked it over, and we made a game plan, and we just resolved everything.
And Tom, we've known each other for a while.
Yes.
And right now, it strikes me that lately in our sessions, I've felt as though you have been a bit more evasive, a bit more deflecting, that you're not talking about your feelings and how you actually processed events. And whenever I ask you for more detail, you try to slip past the detail. You're not really giving specifics. You're talking in a lot of generalities. And I can't, Tom, I can't help you if you don't trust me, if you're not talking about what really occurred. And the other part of it is that it seems as though this is an awful lot of stress for a conference. I mean, you're running into people who are intimidating you in some way, and you have to develop a game plan to resolve the issue. Tom, I'm also an academic. I also have degrees, and I also go to conferences, and the type of conference you're describing is something that I have never seen in my professional career. So I would really like to resolve these issues with you, because I want to make sure that I am providing the best care for you that I can. And I can't do that if you're being evasive, and if you're running from your feelings, and if you're trying to hide things.
I understand that, Ashley. It's just I'm kind of doing some side work, and there's this whole non-disclosure agreement, and there's a tricky legal thing about what I'm allowed to say about. There are some things I just can't share.
And I'm sure that adds to your stress levels, doesn't it?
Yes.
So, and I'm not asking you to disclose anything that would put you in breach of your agreement. How does that make you feel? How are you processing the stress associated with not being able to talk about those things?
It's not great. I thought grad school was rough, but at least then you got a whole bunch of people going through the same problems as you, and now it's just a lot of people I can't talk about things with.
That has to be very isolating, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
So, as you're going through this isolation, what are you doing to center yourself and alleviate the stresses from it? Are you trying meditation? Are you doing yoga? Are you exercising? Are you spending more time with your cat and playing with your cat?
trying to do all of it. Only so many hours in a day, but, trying to do everything I can to hold on to myself,
Okay, so Tom, I'm getting a feeling from you that you're agitated about this somewhat, that it's really taking a toll on you. So I want to try a technique with you that I've learned through studies in biofeedback that may help you. This is something that SWAT teams use. This is something that has been documented in the literature to help. It's called extended breathing. And basically what you do is you breathe and hold your breath and exhale in patterns that help you almost hack your nervous system. It allows you to override, or at least try to override, some of the more primitive parts of the nervous system, the fight or flight response, the lizard brain parts. And by engaging in these breathing exercises, it's calming. It helps me go to sleep when I'm stressed out. And it's a way that tactical teams use to reduce their heart rate to basically a resting heart rate before they breach in hostage situations. So there's a number of different patterns. One that's very effective is inhaling for 4 seconds, holding your breath for 4 seconds, exhaling for 4 seconds, and then just resting for 4 seconds and then repeating it. I want you to try that. It may help you. And if it doesn't, it won't hurt. And that's something that you don't have to tell anybody about. It doesn't breach your NDA. And it's something that might help you gain a little bit more control of your emotions in those stressful situations that you're running into.
I think that might be a good place to cut, or...
That was awesome. I think we know more about your agent now. So, Justin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Boom!
Oh, excellent.
Excellent.
Yay, I'm happy.
And me. So let's have the last agent on screen, which is Agent Moray, aka Reginald. So tell us a little bit about Reginald.
So Reginald, I think, probably in his, I guess he would be in his early to mid 30s by now. Scruffy, dark hair, dark curly hair, kind of handsome, not very expressionate though, unless he's with someone he really likes, and then he's a little over the top. He keeps fit, and he dresses actually kind of like an urban, young adult. I think most of the time on mission, though, I think it's a little bit more. He would never wear like bring camo or anything like obvious to a mission. I think he wears, but I think he does wear like tailored dark suits, like black tie, black shirt, black, all black suits. And as far as like internal life, he's kind of a troubled guy based on his experience. I think the experience that brought him into Delta Green happened in Iraq, and I think that he has some PTSD that's being treated for that. It's not going to be reflected on the character sheet at all. But he thinks about it often. I know one of his anchors is a deceased friend who I think was lost in that conflict and was like his best friend on the unit. So he visits his grave often and thinks about him a lot. Mm-hmm.
So which one of the two anchors would you like to illustrate?
Gosh. I think probably the most appropriate one. Actually, I know it's not a person, but the Crater Lake one, I would love to illustrate. People can definitely be involved in that because Crater Lake is like, it's a national park. So I think that, and I think the human element is part of why it's one of his anchors. He's a photographer, and I think this is a place where he goes to photograph not just nature, but also people enjoying nature and like just being, with their families and kind of like reaffirming that, life is actually good. Kind of a that's what this anchor is about.
Mm-hmm. And what would we see on screen? Like him hiking or pausing to take a snapshot or approaching people to ask permission for a photo, or what would you do?
No, I think it's actually simpler than that. I think it's he is checking into a resort at the base of this mountain, and there is like a family in front of him, and he's waiting to approach the counter, and I think that there's some probably someone talks to him.
And Kyle or Puckett, one of you want to jump in? No.
No.
All right, I'll do it.
Awesome, thanks.
Sure. I think based on his dress and what, like, I think he's holding his camera probably already. It's pretty obvious, like, what he's about and what he's there to do. This is probably in the wintertime, so people are dressed, including Reginald, are dressed up for snow travel and stuff. But I think I'm checking on my, checking what's on the display of my digital camera, reviewing my photos as I was, arriving, that I took while I was arriving, and that kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. So you think Graham's talking to him?
Ooh, I think they would be. Yeah.
And this is after Graham is dead, correct?
Oh, yes. He died like a decade ago. But I think he talks to him a lot.
So what are you doing here, buddy?
Just reviewing footage. I think this one's all right. And he kind of stops at a picture of there are cars waiting to get in to the resort. And I think there's two children like well shot in the back seat, kind of like playing at something or what have you.
You're still taking pictures of kids, huh? Still haven't had any of your own?
No, that's not for me. But hey, you said you always wanted them.
Listen, buddy, family's for everybody. Whether it's the one you're born into or the one that you find. Can't just shut that off.
Well, you can.
All right, let me put this a different way. You shouldn't. It's good to have people around you who care about you. I mean, look at this. You're standing out here by yourself in the winter taking pictures of people that you think are happier than you are.
I think that gets me, and I do like in person smile, not even at the picture, but at what Graham is saying. Yes.
I mean, when are you going to meet somebody? I mean, you push everybody away.
There's someone back home.
Oh?
Someone I take pictures of.
Why am I not surprised? Have you actually talked to this person?
Oh, yeah. We talk about, well, it's still in that kind of inane, nonsense phase conversation. But
so basically what you're saying is you place your coffee order and they say that'll be $3.73 and it'll be ready for you down at the end of the bar. That's the
no. She works for a law firm. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
And you're not a client of hers, right?
No, she has a good sense of style. She comes to my place sometimes.
Does she know you take pictures of her?
Yes, she asked me to.
Listen, I'm just.
Come on.
You really shut down. You didn't really talk to anybody. I know you've been, man. But I've been here all along. Just
Look, I'm doing my best. It's taken some time.
I know you are.
It's not all about you, you know.
When is it
He
ever
says
about
to the
me?
person in his head.
You know, you got to let go of the guilt sometime.
That's what I'm trying to do here.
I mean,
It's a
how many
beautiful
times
place.
do I tell you there wasn't anything you could have done? It wasn't a bullet with my name on it. It was a bunch of bullets that were addressed that had "to whom it may concern" written on them that did it. It's not your fault.
Oh, I know there wasn't anything I could do. That's
Then when are you going to start acting
that's
like
fine.
it?
I'm trying to make a difference. There's this
Yeah?
other thing. Side job.
Mm.
I'm actually
Side
headed
job
out
that makes you
after.
carry a gun?
Yeah. Actually.
Is it
I
a
think
side
you'd
job
be
that you look forward to?
look forward to. Man, that's hard to say, but I'm protecting people like you. With
Buddy,
this
I
family
don't need
here.
protecting. I'm dead. I mean, there ain't shit that's going to hurt me now. I just want to make sure it's not something that
I
you're.
hate it when you talk like that. You know I don't like it.
But it's also true. And I mean, it worries me that it's not something you really acknowledge that much. I mean, I'm gone. And you're still holding on to this and saying you want to protect people like me?
It's not that. It's when you talk like you're better the way you are. That hurts. It scares me.
Keep in mind that where I am, nothing hurts me. I don't feel any pain. I mean, yeah, I've got like a bunch of bullet holes in my chest and it's kind of messy, but it doesn't hurt. So
That's what scares me to think about.
the bigger question here is, who's saying this? Is it really me? Or is it you imagining what I would say to you as you're thinking about this stuff to yourself?
No, it's me realizing that I am speaking to myself.
So really, I'm just saying the things to you that you wish you could say to yourself and can't.
No, it's more like the things that I believe and I would rather not believe.
I just want to make sure that you're not getting off on the idea of carrying a gun to save other people. Because, buddy, known you a long time, first person you need to save is yourself. You better be first on that list. But hey, good talk, buddy. I'll catch up with you next time, all right? You're right, that is a good picture of those kids.
Thanks.
Maybe you should frame it.
I think I have one. It's the right size.
Good deal. We'll talk soon. You hang in there.
I think that the family in front of me is the same family, and I'll go show them the picture.
Awesome. Really cool. So it was actually about Graham and not about the park, but maybe we see the park next time.
No, I like that. Yeah.
Cool, guys. I think we have a better understanding about your characters now. And are you okay with taking 5 maybe, and then diving into the investigation?
Fine by me.
Awesome. See you in 5. Justin, are you familiar with video editing tools? Or do you use them?
I would say no, though I have played with them. I actually one of my most embarrassing but also most proud moments was editing together a music video for a campaign that I ran.
Awesome.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would love to cut out the bits where we were struggling with the microphone for people listening to the AP?
Yeah, that's actually very easy. And you can, like, even with the cheapest video editing software you could get, that should be pretty easy, because it should just be a bar that you can snip
Slide.
tidbits out of. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need to get into this. I'm a computer, what's it called? A digital immigrant because of my age. Anyways, let's see. How does Delta Green contact you? Let's start with Reginald. Which is Justin's character.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. So I think that Delta Green contacts me. I mean, the obvious answer would just be via a burner phone. I think it has to be a burner phone because I think that I'm retired. Like I had an honorable discharge from the military, and I work other jobs now. So I think I'm snapping someone. I have a studio apartment that I've made up into being like, it's a small studio, and half the studio is just a lighting, setup for taking photography. I think I make money doing personal photography on the side, and I think I'm in the middle of snapping someone who just wanted to be photographed in their new outfit or whatever, and I feel the vibration in a pocket. I think I keep it on me. Mm-hmm.
And so, if you answer the call, there will be a voice you haven't heard before saying, we haven't spoken in a while, but you should definitely check your post box. You know, the one at the theater, and then there's a click.
Yeah, and if the person I'm shooting asks what it was, I'll just tell them it's another. I have a date for a night at the opera.
Obviously. And what about Agent Moss? How does she get contacted?
Oh. Randall pokes his head out of his office and yells, "Jackson, get in here!" Get up and walk in. Hands me a piece of paper and says, "You're on another special subcommittee elect thing. Here's the details. I'm getting sick of this, Jackson. It pisses me off that every so often I get one of these letters, and it doesn't matter what I have for you, it doesn't matter what else is going on, you automatically get pulled and sent off to do fuck only knows what. It's pissing me off, Jackson. I want to make sure you know this. It is jeopardizing your career here at the agency. It's jeopardizing. I mean, it's already cost you promotions. It's costing you pay raises. Whatever that, you better talk to these people because they are screwing you up royally. Now get out of here."
Does sound that your boss is not happy with you.
Can you blame them?
Well, depends on how often you're called in. And on the, I mean, it is garbled nonsense, like a combination of special symbols and numbers, but you have the key somewhere to put it into plain text. And when you do, you find the following information, which is in the folder under Operation Iago. And while you're processing this, how would Kyle be? How would Tom be contacted?
I think Tom just might get an email, like with some, like code words, like requesting to collaborate on some research project or something.
And the address for that research program and the time of date will point you to like a more or less random street in New Jersey, in Meadowbrook, on the 12th of September, which is the following day at 9 a.m. in the morning. And Reginald, when you check your dead drop, you find the document called Operation Iago as well, and the information to meet up with the rest of the cell at 9 p.m. on the 12th on Spooner Avenue 1206.
Excellent.
So,
I think he looks excited.
Yeah, so it is a beautiful autumn morning in September. It's the sun is dark orange. It's the trees on the neighborhood is. There's a lot of retirees. It's like a residential area with 1 or 2 story houses with big lawns, and 1206 Spooner Avenue is a little bit to the back of there's like a huge front lawn, and the house is a little bit on the back, not easy to be seen. You can't see it from the street that easily. You meet up, the 3 of you. And I assume that you have all worked with each other before in one capacity or the other. So how does the reunion look like?
Well, I think Tom is probably intimidated by Reginald, just because I think Tom is relatively new and Reginald's the expert, the veteran. You're on mute.
Mm-hmm. I will walk straight up to you and very confident handshake, and probably a pretty strong hand too.
And you're wearing obviously your dark suit with the dark tie and the white shirt. And how does Tom look like?
Slacks and a polo. And yeah, he's kind of clearly feeling underdressed and Moray, it's good to see you. Yeah.
Agent Milk, I'm surprised. I'm glad to see you're here again.
Yeah, me too. Always good to see yourself, right?
That last one was pretty exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, it's good to have you on. Did you join up?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as far as I can tell, I'm a part of things now.
All right. Well, we'll have to teach you the secret handshake. And then he tosses one out, but he just made it up on the fly. He's kind of teasing you.
We've got a secret handshake now? What the hell, Moray? You didn't even tell me?
Well, they're individualized. Here's yours. And then I think he gives you the limp wrist.
What, am I supposed to kiss it or something? Jesus. Milk? You're alive.
You too, Moss. Happy living.
Maswa is obviously present. She's wearing a gray suit. You can tell that it has been cut for a sidearm at the waist, as well as a holdout piece in the small of the back. White top. Otherwise, just standard professional wear for the CIA.
And so for the sake of whoever is listening, are you telling Agent Milk what the mission is about?
Well, aren't we waiting for the handler to show up and give us the mission briefing?
The mission briefing. So in your what was it? You got this the message, and at home you could
got it.
With a key you could turn it into readable language, and it is Operation Iago. So maybe Justin, would you do the honors to tell us what the mission is about?
Sure. Is that in the link here?
Yeah, it's so in the folder.
Mm-hmm.
I
see it. Okay. So, let me fill you in, Milk. A few days ago, we got this from Central, and here's the thing: we're here to investigate the death of Agent Garrett and the suspicious circumstances of his death. We're here at the address, 1206 Spooner Avenue, and it's been brought to the attention of A-Cell that there's a paranormal threat. Are you ready to take it on?
Yeah, I guess I have to be, but I can do this. Let's go. Yeah. Wow.
Well, hold on, because there's a few things you need to know.
Like, that should never be your reaction to anything we deal with. Let's go. No. I mean, just no. I mean,
listen to Agent Moss. They know what they're talking about.
Oh, God. We're going to die. I know we're going to die. So,
look, our first objective is to determine the cause of Special Agent Arthur Donnelly's death. We're also going to need to determine if the address represents an ongoing threat to the public. And once that's complete, we should check in. So simple enough.
Moray, I have an idea. All right.
Yeah. I mean, we're already here.
I know we're here. My thought is that we leave, go to a nearby gas station, buy a plastic gas can and fill it with gasoline, come back, burn it to the ground, and say mission over. I mean, we know that that's a pretty solid approach. All we have to do is keep the fire from spreading to nearby houses, and we don't hurt any civilians.
Look, he's playing with you. You never do that. That's an awful idea. Look, I told you we don't need to haze our our friendlies. Okay.
Look, you and I have been on enough of these things to know that that's usually how it ends up. I'm just suggesting we skip any of us dying in the process. We can just burn it to the ground now. We all leave. We go home. We have happy lives. Delaying the end.
But there could be critically important evidence in there. I mean, who knows what we could learn inside that building?
There could be critically important things in there that drive you insane, quite literally. Sometimes seeing these things is enough to turn you into a deranged cultist. They can act in hypnotic ways. They can act in mesmerizing ways. They can basically just melt your brain. I'm in favor of fire. I'm just saying.
I glance over to the house, which I assume is depicted in this picture.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's
And
a
it
one.
just-
Yeah.
Yeah, it just looks like a plain one-story house. Like it couldn't be more than 1,000 square feet. And I'm like, come on.
Look, I grew up in suburbia. I know the kind of evil that lies behind seemingly normal looking houses. And for them to send us out here, it's not just like some jackass drunk beating on his kid. You know, that's just like your garden variety evil. This is the serious stuff. This is just, if you're insisting that we go in there, you're insisting, I'll follow your lead. I'm just saying, when things go to shit, and let's be blunt, we know they will, they always do. I just want to be on record as saying we should have burned the fucking thing to the ground before we ever went in there, and none of this would have happened. Okay?
Well, all right.
I'm on record.
Noted. Objection noted. Look, there's a couple things we could check up on before we go in there. Guns blazing.
Okay. I didn't say anything about guns blazing. I said fire. But okay.
House ablazing. There's a friendly, two of them, in fact. There's a parapsychologist, an associate professor of abnormal psychology at Fulton College. And I kind of share the information for Emil Yarrow with the two agents. And then there's Elizabeth Tucker, an antique dealer who lives in Meadowbrook. Now, why they chose these people, I could not say. As usual, there's only so much information given on these kinds of things. But there is, and I kind of hold the paper up, there is listed here a storage facility, a green box, just up the way. So if it comes to it, we have some supplies to go through, maybe something to protect ourselves with. Some charms. A cross. I kind of look at him with like a cocked eye.
When has a cross ever worked? So listen, Moray. May I make a still serious suggestion that is not burning the place to the ground and leaving? Is that okay with you?
I'm all ears.
Let's go to the green box, see what we've got there. Because I would like to know what our options are for support before we go into anything. And then to me, it kind of makes sense if you and Milk went to talk to the parapsychologist, because with his anthropological background and you having an ounce of sense in your head, you might be able to get some decent information out of them. And then while you're doing that, if it's okay, I'll go talk to the antiques dealer. I do have sort of a thing for, well, old furniture and whatnot. And I know we're not talking about that, but maybe I'll spot a piece that I can't live without while I'm trying to get some information on this. I mean, not going to lie, I kind of have a vested interest in this. So what do you think?
I agree. That sounds like a good plan.
All right.
Yeah, let's do that.
Now, Agent Milk, you're a people person, you could say. I know, mostly you study dead people, but I wonder if you can see what you can dig up on this guy from the public record while we're at it.
Absolutely.
Drive over? Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'll do that.
Good. Yeah, you do that.
All right. So green box time.
Yep.
So who's going where? Are you all going to the green box? Or are you splitting up to different directions?
I thought we were all heading to the green box and then would split up and do our thing.
We'll go there together to see what we can scrounge up. And
All
then
right.
split up. Yeah.
So let's see. The green box is located in this storage facility. Do you have all? Are you driving there with your own car? Like who's
I think we
driving?
should probably carpool. Just like leave the other cars parked.
Yeah, exactly. So somebody's driving, and the facility is surrounded by a pretty big fence with barbed wires on top. There is some kind of like an office in a like a 2-room trailer. The gates are open, and you do have a number, but you don't have a key or something. So it's unit 2230. What do you do?
I want to check it out and see if there's a lock on it or a keypad.
Yeah. So it's these rows of garages, and they all have locks on it, and the unit you're looking for is no difference.
They didn't give us a key this time. Did either of you get a key in the materials that I sent you?
No key. Could we go grab a bolt cutter or something?
We could, but I've got a different idea that I'd like to try.
I think I'm already digging through my bag, and I pull one out.
Instead of cutting it, let me go talk to the manager here, because a lot of times they sell the locks, and occasionally they keep a copy of the key. So let's just see if we can do this with a little less noise. Okay.
So, Carly, you approach the trailer. The door is open, and there's like a classic rock station from the inside of the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And do you walk in? Do you knock? Do you have
I knock on the door before I walk in. Kind of poke my head through and say hello.
And you hear a deep voice with a thick New Jersey accent that I can't imitate, saying, "Yeah, what's up?"
Tell me about the person that I'm looking at. Who looks like
the person you're looking at has thinning hair. It's a guy in his 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Stubbles. He has a tracksuit that is open. Underneath is a wife beater and a gold chain.
Mm-hmm.
He looks, Mediterranean, like Italian or something.
Okay. So, excuse me. My name's Agent Jackson. I'm with a flash the badge quick, so you can fast enough that he doesn't see what organization it is, just that it is an actual honest to God badge and credentials, and say, I'm here on something of a matter of national security.
He looks suspiciously at you.
I need to know, do you have a spare key for Unit 2230?
2230. Let me see. And he checks his, his notes. That's are you relatives of? And he checks his notes again. Of Mr. Donnelly?
He was. I can't give too much information away. I'm sure you understand. But we are investigating his homicide.
Well, there's a balance due, and government or not, somebody has to pay it.
Understandable. What's the balance due on it?
Well, it's 1,200 and he shows like a receipt. You know, it hasn't been paid in a while, as you can see.
Obviously.
Did the guy kill himself? That was in the news.
We're investigating it as a homicide at the moment. And as I said, it's something of a matter of national security. So what can we work out here that would give us access to his unit with the knowledge that you're helping your country?
He laughs. Well, I don't know what the government ever did for me, so unless you are coughing up some green, I don't see a way forward for us.
And if I told you that there is a possibility that there are bioweapons in that unit that could be jeopardizing your life, and that it is a non-distinct, it is a non-trivial possibility?
I think this is the first roll of the evening. That looks like a persuade type of situation. Let's see.
Just the 2 regular dice, one for the roll, one for the occupation.
Yeah, I would say so. As a CIA agent.
Yeah, because I'm not risking insanity on this. So.
Not on that guy.
And that's a 3. That's a big old no.
Well, Justin, the rules say that if somebody thinks that failing is interesting, does somebody think failing is interesting?
I actually kind of do here, because the tactic Agent Moss has taken is very bold. And
very bold indeed.
And
I could see actually an exposure die going up after the mentioning of a biohazard in New Jersey.
Yeah, honestly, that's enough for me. Like, I don't know that a complete failure needs to happen here, but
awesome.
Someone, even just the fact that this guy could whisper to like relatives or the owner of the storage facility, like, yo, they thought there were bioweapons in this unit. Like, someone just opening up the unit is enough to raise our exposure, right?
Yeah. So I think you like a 3 is not a failure unless somebody else rolls against you, and I think the guy is scared shitless. So he grabs a huge key ring with like dozens of keys, and he he says, well, fuck me, let's get rid of these what do you call them,
biohazards.
Yeah. And he he slips into his trainers and walks before you to the unit.
I follow along. I mean, what else am I going to do at this point?
Yeah, that's fine.
So mechanically, I will just increase the exposure die to 2. All right. So yeah, he walks up to the garage, nods to the 2 of you with a pretty another skeptical look at Reginald, and unlocks the key, unlocks the lock.
Thank you very much, Mr. What's your last name?
His last name is Miglia.
Thanks.
Brian Miglia. Nice to meet you.
Yes. Mr. Miglia, we're going to need all of the keys that you have for this unit. I want to make sure no one else goes in there and is put at risk of exposure. And we'll let you know if we find anything at all in there that is worrisome. This could just be a hoax. It could be a false alarm. But you understand, we have to make sure.
So he removes the key from the key ring and puts out like a handkerchief and puts it over his mouth and nose, but lingers around.
You'll go back to your office, please. I want to make sure that this can be spread through skin-to-skin contact. So as much as I would like to say that your handkerchief will protect you, I mean, honestly, if we go in there and we see anything worrisome, we're coming right back out and we're calling a hazmat team. So I want to make sure that you are safe because you're really helping us out here, and we appreciate it.
All right, ma'am. And he turns around and rushes.
Mr. Meglia, one last thing.
Yeah. Turns around.
If you see anyone but us or people we authorize, people you can clearly tell are with us, like a hazmat team, if you see anyone approaching this unit, please do call this number.
And do you give him like a card?
I give him a written card with the burner number on it.
He sighs, turns around. Yes, ma'am, I will.
Thank you.
And go back to his trailer. So, upon opening the garage door, you see the following. I think the three most prominent features of the green box is, well, it's full of crap, frankly. There's two plastic wrapped twin mattresses that lean to the against the wall. There's a sofa bed. There's some kind of old living room table, and then there's a small-ish coffin. That's the three things or the four things that really pop out. And then there's like shit ton of other things, like containers, gasoline containers, and shovels and work gloves and so forth.
By a small coffin, I assume you mean like a child's coffin?
Yes, a child's coffin, not like a miniature coffin or something.
Moray, I'd just like to point out there's a lot of gasoline canisters in here. Just saying.
Yes, the deceased agent who ran this green box apparently had some backup plans of their own.
I mean, was he living in this place or
around
what?
Things.
I mean, it looks like he was living here.
Is anyone gonna talk about the coffin? Because
No, actually, for the moment, we're going to ignore the coffin, Agent Milk, because that's creepy as fuck. And quite frankly, I don't want to be the one to open it, so I'm going to ignore it for a while.
Well, based on the story you gave that poor man out there, I think we need to walk out of here with something.
Yeah. We absolutely do. But I would also like it to just look like garbage so that I can go to him and I can say, no need to worry. It was a false alarm. But I have to say, apparently, he was living in this storage unit for a while. You know, something appropriately creepy but understandable that fits into his worldview, so he doesn't know there was a goddamn child's coffin in this fucking thing.
Well, I have to say that the two twin mattresses, they are still plastic wrapped and they are leaning against the wall. So if he has slept in there, then he probably slept on the sofa.
Yeah. It's weird that he has mattresses in here.
I would like to check any containers or what have you that are closed, pointedly avoiding the coffin for the time being.
Mm-hmm. I want to investigate the mattresses because that's just weird.
So, concerning containers, there are three biohazard containers, which is kind of fitting, I guess. There are two bags of quicklime there are 14 quart-sized metal containers for gasoline and 2 gallon-size plastic gasoline containers. And I guess that's it concerning. And there's obviously the coffin.
I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. This green box looks like a murder room. I mean, plastic wrapped twin mattresses. You could use that as a kind of you could use that as a makeshift silencer. There's all the gasoline in here. There's goddamn quicklime in here. That's the sort of shit you use when you want to bury a body and have it broken down quick. I mean, what the hell was he into?
But aren't mattresses expensive? It seems like that they're cheaper, sound baffling things you can get out there.
I mean, he could have bought a pillow, and this is why I'm wondering. This is what I mean. It's weird. I mean, it's not that twin mattresses are that expensive, but it's weird.
In any case, all the containers are empty, including the biohazard container. Oh, well, you haven't checked the coffin, though. The twin mattresses, they are pretty new, so they don't look like they have been used.
Milk, get over
I have
here.
to wonder if he was planning
What?
for a murder.
I mean, it certainly could be. I mean, but a child's coffin, what the hell does that have to do with anything? And Moray, normally you've been on enough of these. I haven't worked with you often, but we've been on a few of these things before. You know, in a green room, you know, in a green box, you usually walk in, there's a table. There are untraceable weapons. You know, there's some burner phones. We're not seeing any of the normal support we get in here. There's none of it. I mean, we get basically drop pieces and burner phones, so we are not connected to these investigations in any way, shape, or form. And as it is right now, we're on the hook. So what the hell?
I mean, you can conclude, I think, that this green box is not in official use because everything that you just mentioned is missing. I mean, to be honest, there are 2 shotguns, and if you check them, the registration is indeed filed off, but still.
I want to inspect the child's coffin, look for any kind of distinguishing marks, any clues, anything.
So the coffin is 4 foot long. It is still covered in more or less recent dirt, so it has been obviously excavated, and it is also pretty crumbling and like decomposing. So that coffin had been in the ground for a long time.
I just kind of want to point out that this has gone beyond odd and beyond weird into the this is seriously creeping me out territory, because I would like to know why we have this coffin in here when it's clearly been exhumed and it's clearly old. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I at least want latex gloves and a mask to deal with this. So, you know, Milk, if you want to mess with this, that's your business. But I'm gonna take a step outside, and I'm just gonna let you do your thing because, well, you know, not to really put any bad ideas in your head. Messing with this sort of stuff is usually what gets people killed in these missions. So I'm just gonna let you do that.
All right. Do what you need to, Milk says, and like, you know, he's suddenly kind of, I mean, he was nervous before, but this is intriguing. He's interested now, and this thing is, I mean, it's rotting. It can't be keeping anything inside.
You can also see that there's a small plaque on the head end. It is a bronze plaque, a metal plaque in any case. and it says Anton Touré, 1957 to 1966.
Huh. This name ring any bells with you?
Can't say it does. And honestly, if can do a reverse Google search or something, but doesn't exactly sound like a common name in New Jersey.
I yell from
No.
outside. Google searches don't pull up much from before the internet. I mean, the farther back you go, the less they pull up. This might not even be a thing on there. You do you,
Well,
though.
I mean, Coffin's rotting. It can't be keeping anything inside still. I mean, if there was something in there, it could bust out. I kind of want to pop the lid, see if there's even a body in there still.
Agent Moray will produce the previously mentioned gloves and what have you necessary to kind of do this safely and cleanly and hand them off to you. I'll help you out, Milk. Moss, why don't you
Thanks.
step
Yeah,
outside?
Moray, you've been... It's your life.
So let's try to preserve as much of this as we can. You never know. I mean, research, that sort of thing, and just tries to. Yeah, I guess Milk tries to pop the lid.
Mhm.
Whoa. And then I produce a crowbar from my bag, and look, you get on that side, and I'll open it slowly, okay? All right. And presumably you have a flashlight or something you can peer inside with.
Yeah.
And I'll jam it in and pop it open as slowly as I can.
Yeah, there's. I mean, the whole coffin smells very earthy. If that is a smell, like wooden and dirt, like this dark. There's dark dirt. There's no smell of any kind of rot or something. And when you open up the lid, you can see inside the remains of a skeleton that is decomposed to the point where it is barely recognizable as a body. You can see obviously the skull, and the bones are still where they're supposed to be, but time hasn't been kind.
Milk will sort of look over the corpse, try to see if any body parts are missing or any weird injuries.
There's definitely nothing. There's nothing like obviously broken or missing, for example. It is also pretty impossible to tell the cause of death, other than there's not anything major missing, let's say.
So no bullet holes in the skull or anything like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
No obvious trauma. No
Yeah.
blunt force trauma.
Yeah. It could be strangled, or millions of ways it could have died. Sicknesses, obviously.
Are you guys done looking in the coffin yet?
Yeah, I think we've seen all there is to see. Maybe we should check by a graveyard, see if there have been any recent robberies.
That's probably something for a quick newspaper search, like a LexisNexis search would get us there. But I'm thinking that maybe we want to get this body out of here. I pull the car up and try to get the coffin in there without anybody seeing us, because I'm just this should not be here. We're all agreed on that, right? Like the gasoline, the sofa couch, the table, the mattresses, all weird, all explainable. This is, yeah. Let's get it out of here and dispose of the remains somehow.
I think Agent Moray will agree to that, but also suggest that we just take, there's not a lot in here that's particularly damning or what have you, other than maybe the shotguns. And so taking out the coffin and the shotguns and putting those in the car, and then maybe making a show of grabbing one of the hazard containers and and just like trying to let that be the visible component to our regress from this place would be good.
I mean, there's also a lot of other crap in the green box. So if you inspect the room further, you find. I think I mentioned the 2 shovels that are brand new.
Yeah.
The 4 pairs of work gloves. But there's also a headlamp, which is a bit surprising, maybe. There are 3 newly minted keys taped to a piece of cardboard. There's 400 rounds of shotgun ammunition, the 2 shotguns that I mentioned. There are
400 rounds? Who the hell needs 400 rounds of shotgun ammo?
Somebody who needs to defend their freedom. I don't know. I'm not an American. There's also on the table, there's a couple of fake identities. Like, you can see that they're fake identities because it's the same person, and they are a gas inspector and an assistant county coroner and so forth. There's a Nikon F36 telephoto lens and reflex camera. There are a couple of notes, like handwritten notes. And then there are also a couple of half-burned photographs.
All right, Moray, why don't you check out the camera and the photos, because you know more about that stuff than either of us do. I
will
I
definitely
want to know what these notes
definitely
are.
do that.
Yeah, Milk will read over your shoulder. Yeah.
All right. So when you check the camera, it is there's no film inside. If you look at the photographs, they seem to be like, obviously they are burned, so they're a bit difficult to see. But what you have seen of Spooner Avenue, of the building, it seems to be all photographs from different angles. Yeah.
You said that there's no film inside at all? Not even undeveloped film?
No.
Okay.
Do you see any rolls of film around? Are they in any... I mean, if we rifle through the containers, what else do we find?
Well, I think I meant you don't find any films, neither undeveloped nor otherwise.
Okay.
The notes they will take like probably half a day or something to really sift through. But what you can glean from the first impression you get is it is written by someone who is very interested in the building, in the house, and if you flip through them, the handwriting gets more and more erratic, to the point that the last 3 pages are more or less unreadable. They look more like almost like a mathematic formula or something, with abbreviations and a lot of exclamation marks and question marks. They're not actual mathematical formula, and they're not a ritual or something. It's just somebody writing down something really quickly using abbreviations.
Milk, can you see if you can make sense of any of this stuff? I mean, I know it's going to take a while, but I mean, honestly, with your academic background, you're probably better suited to it than either of us.
Yeah, I've read messier handwriting. I can take a crack at this.
All right. Let's just get all the stuff that we think we're going to need out of here. And I mean, when I say need, honestly, I want to take the quicklime with us, and I want to take some gas cans with us, because we're going to need to dispose of this body. We can't leave it laying around as evidence. We don't want any trace of it being here.
We can't dispose of it yet. I mean, digging up was probably one of the last things he did. We can't let it go to waste before we know what it's for.
Milk, I hate to admit this, but you make a good point.
Yeah, I'd agree. But I think you're right. We should remove anything that suggests this was a kill room.
And Moray, I don't know what we do about this. We don't really have a green box. We're basically on our own on this one. How do you want to handle this? I mean,
I pat my sports bag and I just say, I think I've got everything I need right here.
I'm not disputing that, but we need something of a safe house, and we don't have one. And I don't like that. I feel really exposed on this one, and I don't like that feeling.
We'll just have to be careful, I guess.
Oh, right, I forget. This is your second mission for Delta Green. Okay. Milk, I hope you live long enough to learn. Good luck with that.
All right. So the plan, I think, is to get the coffin out of the garage, and at least the quicklime and the biohazard container for Miglia, so that he has something to see.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Oh,
I think I know how to. I think I know. Yeah, the shotguns for sure. I think I have an idea of how to get them to only see what we want them to see, which is to, well, two of us are removing the coffin, and the shotguns and the more dangerous looking stuff. I can go in and give them a rundown of I'm going to need you to sign these. I'm going to need you guys to sign a disclosure form. You can't talk about this until whatever investigation is done is over. That kind of a thing.
You're a material witness.
Yeah.
If you disclose this to anybody, you can be charged under the Espionage Act. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, that actually sounds like a really cool plan to to distract Miglia. And I think that just works out. You go there. He signs the agreement, grumbling about the government and so forth. While you guys put everything in your car. And what's the next step?
I believe getting the fuck out of there with a quickness.
Mm-hmm. Where do you drive to? Let's say it's by the time you get everything out, it's probably noon.
We need something of a safe house. Do either of you have cash? Or can you pull a couple $100 out of an ATM?
Not on my salary.
Great. All right. I want to.
Go ahead.
With the fake IDs, do we know if Donnelly had made them with his face on them?
I think you haven't checked. I mean, you assume that that the face on all these fake IDs is Donnelly's face. So yeah, they're all on with his face on it.
Did any of them come with credit cards or anything? Any of the fake IDs?
No.
Of course, we couldn't be that lucky. Moray, how much work would it take to get a photo of one of us and swap it out on those fake IDs?
I have more than one side job.
So how quickly can you get this done for us?
If we get a hotel, cheap motel somewhere, shouldn't take long, an hour.
Okay, because what I'm thinking is we might want to use these IDs to get us that cheap hotel. So we might, I mean, what do you need? I mean, you obviously need photos. I mean, what else would you need to get this done in the back seat of the car?
Oh, I just need a little privacy.
All right.
Yeah.
You want to hurry putting on their milk?
I didn't catch that.
Oh, we're just deciding whose face we should put on the fake IDs that we're going to use to get the room.
Yeah, sure. You can use mine, I guess.
Okay.
I'm already pulling up a Polaroid camera, and I catch you, I think, as you're turning to face me. Like, I bring it up to my face, and as Milk turns to face me, I snap a picture, and it blinds you for a second.
Fantastic job. That looks appropriately awful for an identification photo.
Yay.
All right.
All right. John.
I was going to say, well, you're doing that in the back seat. I'm going to drive to an ATM. I'm going to get some cash out. And I wish we'd had some burner accounts because I really don't like. I mean, it's not unusual for me to be in New Jersey, but I'd rather not have any kind of ATM records or bank records stating that I made a withdrawal here. So, note to self: if I survive, bring cash next time. Duly noted.
So about faking the ideas and slipping the photo inside or onto the ideas. First of all, they're like different jobs. Which one are you most interested in?
Which ones are available?
Well, they're definitely available, the two that I mentioned, but I'm open to suggestions. So there's the Meadowbrook gas inspector and the assistant county coroner. Was it coroner?
I'll have if Milk is up for it, I'll have them take a picture of me in return, and I'll do a little job and put that onto the gas inspector. Is what you said? Yeah.
Yeah, and put them on the corner maybe, since they're the actual doctor.
Exactly.
Sounds good.
Then let's see how good it is. Let's make a roll to see. I mean, you will persuade people anyways, but they might remember the dodgy IDs later on.
Yeah, I don't know that this is going to be. I don't think this would be stressful for me all that much, and I don't want to bring up the dark die, but I do think that there's a chance of exposure. As you know, the handler can say whether that's the case or not. But
yeah, I like the way I see it is if you fail the roll, then the exposure die will go up. Right. Instead of if you fail the roll, you know, they won't accept the ID. Is that a fair deal?
Yes. I'll roll 1 because I'm a photographer and I want to make it a good photo and a good match, and 1 because it's human. And I will roll those green dice under my selection here. And it looks like I got a 5.
And because I think it would be super awesome if you fail, let's roll against it. But
wait, isn't it additive?
No. It's the highest die that counts. Okay. So it looks actually pretty good. It is a pretty decent job that you do with I don't know what your tools actually are, but it looks pretty professional. And then so So Carly gets them gets to the ATM machine. Obviously, they will take a, there's a camera there. Do you do anything in order to obscure your face?
There's no way to. We don't have any kind of technology to, like, take the camera out, disable it somehow.
No.
I have a thought.
Hit it with a can of spray paint.
No. Well, my thought is more that we can, we were already talking to these people and like giving them forms and stuff, telling them that we need the footage for the last 24 hours.
Good
Could
call.
definitely be something we could do. Yeah.
That's super smart. Guys, can we take another 5 minutes
Of course.
break, and we meet at 20 past.
Sounds good.
So is let's see. Is Agent Moss trying to get the tape?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, get the cash, flash the credentials, national security. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Amazing how many things in 2005 can be acquired just by uttering national security.
Yeah, I mean, it's the aftermath of 9/11, exactly. So yeah, I think that will fly.
Yeah, and pretty much anybody at that point is like, oh, national security, or biohazard.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing how much manipulation can be done with fear.
So Agent Moss gets the tapes, flashes the badge. You drive to the to a cheap motel. I assume in the meantime, Agent Milk has skimmed through the first couple of pages. So you're probably halfway through, because the first couple of pages are the ones that have the best handwriting. So what you get from it is that Donnelly is actually born in Meadowbrook, and he says that he has always been fascinated by the house and by the stories that surround the house. So his parents always told him not to go there, and he later he would read like the Stephen King stories about haunted houses, and so he was utterly fascinated by it. And then a death appeared, the death of Amanda Braintree, and that was when his interest in the house got rekindled, let's say. And that was in 1999, where Amanda committed suicide. And since then, he was utterly fascinated by it. He contacted Delta Green, never got an answer back. And then there is like a break of a couple of years, and then the notes mention a woman called Yamila Izari. Just written. Who bought the house, and he tried to persuade her not to do it, because he already had the gut feeling that something bad is going on. And from there on, the handwriting really gets so bad that it would take you like 2 or 3 hours to read 3 or 4 pages probably. But there's one page that I would like to share with you. If you look at the folder under pictures, there's Donnelly's notes, and that is the last picture, the last page from his notes, which is difficult to read, but I think with some effort you can get the information. So I imagine that you are all in. Do you take one room for the 3 of you, or 3 separate rooms?
I'd like one room.
Yeah. And so how does it look like? Probably Agent Milk is sitting on the bed, flipping through the notes. What are the rest doing?
There's probably a moment where I'm examining the burnt photos to some degree, and I'm trying to get the angles and like from where he took the pictures. And there's definitely a mental note in Moray's head of like, I'm gonna try and retake these photographs and see what I see. But there's probably a desk, and this might be where I actually like go through the badges and make sure that they look to my satisfaction and stuff like that, with like a straight razor.
Where you put the last touch to the...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Agent Moss?
So, fellas, I'm looking at this note. I just want to point out, for the record, again, look at how many times Donnelly wrote "burn it" on here.
He also wrote that didn't work.
Well, he still wrote "bury it," "burn it," "burn it." It says something about it knows why he knew it. It knew he was watching it. Doesn't say what it is, but I mean that doesn't sound human.
There's definitely something in the house, I think.
Well, it says talk to survivors, Canadian mental health laws, music from dining room, laughter, noise, someone else in house, not returning calls. I mean, something about Wheeler furniture and pagers. I mean, none of it makes any sense.
Wasn't one of the friendlies a psychotherapist of some kind or professional?
Parapsychologist.
Parapsychologist, yes.
Is that was her name Yamila Isari, or is that someone else?
No, it's Hero's
Yamila.
the parapsychologist, and then we got Tucker's the antique dealer. So what the hell does Wheeler furniture have to do with anything? What even is Wheeler furniture? I think I'll have to ask Tucker about that.
Isari was the name mentioned in the notes. This is the woman who bought the house, and he wanted to persuade her to not do it.
All right. What does that say? Roaming the lawns? House? Trey not dead, only at night. Grave? Shovel?
I think, if nothing else, we've got to come back to the house at night. Maybe, we don't have any night vision. That would be nice. But, I mean, observe the place without going in, see what we can see.
Well, it's still daylight, so we got some time to kill. Maybe we should go talk to... You guys should go talk to Euro, and I'll go talk to Tucker and see what the hell I can find out about all this stuff. Like, why there were 2 twin mattresses that Donnelly had.
Sounds good.
Let's stick to the plan. Check in when you're done.
Yeah.
All right.
Should we bother with burner phones at this point?
What do you mean?
I mean, we don't have any burner phones. We need to stay in touch with each other. Are we using our own cell phones, or do we even care at this point? I mean, this...
I mean, we could just use a dead drop.
No. I shake my head and
Yeah.
I go back to my bag and I pull out 3 burners that I carry on my person.
So
Moray, you're becoming my new favorite person.
You have the one official Delta Green burner phone, and it definitely has the like a number for a cell.
Yeah. These will be 3 that are like ones you would buy at a Walmart.
Yeah.
In America at this time period. So they're not smartphones by any measure, but they each have a phone number, and that's all we need. Yeah.
All right. At least we got that sorted. All right. Good luck.
So let's start with. So one of you is going to see the professor, Mr. Yarrow. Who's that? Who's going to Yarrow?
That was Moray and Milk together, because Milk is the academic.
We were. But as we drive away, I'm going to turn to Milk, and I'm going to say, what do you say we take a detour?
To where?
To the house.
Without him? Why? Why are we going there alone?
Look, he's obviously got it in his head that ghosts exist, and I mean, come on.
Do they not?
No. Oh, have you been watching too much Phenom X? What's your deal? Come on.
I've seen just enough to know that I don't know what's out there.
Look, we've got a camera, got some flashlights. If there is a ghost, maybe we can take a picture of it.
You're the veteran here. If that's how you want to play it, that's how we can play it.
I'll tell you what, we won't go inside, okay? Just stop by. It's practically on the way. Take a few photographs, and then we'll go on to the parapsychologist and see what they have to say about it.
All right then. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So I do think we make that detour, and I try and reproduce some of the camera angles and take pictures of the windows and such in the house.
Yeah, so when you arrive at the house, it's late afternoon. The sun casts this. It's September. It's casts the long shadows. The street itself is really quiet. You see maybe 2 or 3 elderly people like bringing their groceries from the car to their houses. When you approach the house, you can see that the lawn is pretty weedy. It hasn't been cared for some time. The north side, which is facing the street, is also covered in ivy. And if you want to reproduce the photographs, it's really difficult. You can see that it is the house. You can also see that he was obviously he took 2 or 3 photos of the house above the garage. So there's the main house, there's the garage, and the runway. There's you can pretty easily see that there's like an additional room over the garage that is more recent than the rest of the house. And then if you circle the house once, you can see that there's a porch on the back side, and you can even see over the fence the back road, which is the valley road. And yeah, most of the photos are from the back, actually. So there are a couple of photos of the room above the garage, a couple of photos of the back side of the house, and that's probably it. Do you enter the house? The driveway, yeah.
No, I'll keep my distance, and I'm trying to reproduce some of the photos, but I think I also get my own instincts kick in, and I take other pictures that he might not have even thought of to take, and what have you, from from various angles. I'm not going to be climbing on anyone's property or what have you to get them, but if there are people walking about, they might stop and ask me what I'm doing, and I'll just say, I'm a photographer, and that'll probably be all the explanation I'll give them.
You do have the feeling that people actually, nobody is bothering you, and people don't even walk past the house. They would cross the road. Yeah,
because this is a haunted house, right? Yeah.
Seems like it.
So I might not be the first person to come by and take pictures of this place.
I mean, you could ask them, but they don't approach you.
Mm-hmm. I will ask them. I'll say, hey, how long have you lived in this neighborhood?
So the person that was changing the side of the road to get away from the house is an elderly woman with a dog. And no, scrap that. It's an elderly woman who, let's see, brings her grocery bags to the house, let's say. And she turns around to you and says, "Excuse me?"
The house there. And I give her a point, and I say, how long have you lived nearby?
Oh, we moved here like 15 years ago.
Hmm.
So you'd be familiar with some of the stories, right?
Yeah, the stories about the house.
Oh yes. We're doing a research project on local legends and folklores and how they develop over time. Have you heard any of the stories about this house and the mysterious incidents?
To be honest, there are older folks that are really interested in these kinds of things. But yeah, I don't know. It's obviously a tragedy what happened to that foreign lady. But suicides happen.
Do you see a lot of disaster tourists coming by here?
No, not really. I mean, if you want to talk to somebody who lived here for a long, long time, you should talk to the Miss Klasky. She's the oldest here. I think she lives here for like all of her life, and she's in her 90s.
Thanks, I appreciate it. And I'm gonna give Milk a look like I'm impressed with that performance. And I think we'll head to the parapsychologist when we're done here. But yeah.
Okay, let's switch over to Agent Moss. Agent Moss was driving to the antique dealer, I think.
Tucker. Yep.
So you can look her up. She has a pretty flashy website. Let's see, and with the address of her office. So she, when you arrive there, she has a small shop in this center with a couple of display furnitures. She herself is like a pretty attractive woman in her late 20s or early 30s, dark hair, business-like attire, and she finishes talking to customers and then turns to you and says, "Yes, ma'am, how can I help you?"
Miss Tucker, I presume?
The very same.
I need a moment of your time to speak privately, if I may. I'm going to flash my credentials real quick.
Oh, you're from the opera, right?
Yes.
And she leads the other customers out of the shop, closes the shop, and then turns back to you. So something like something exciting happening?
Something I would hesitate to say exciting, more along the lines of confusing or bewildering. And I'm hoping that you might be able to help with us.
She flashes a smile. Well, bewildering is exciting, isn't it?
Suppose so. Are you familiar with Special Agent Donnelly?
Oh yeah, I've read it. Terrible case. He killed himself, didn't he?
All that I can say at the moment is that we are reasonably sure that he is in fact dead. We are investigating the cause.
Yeah, I've read it in the newspaper. There's it was the second in like 2 months or something.
Did he ever come to your store?
He actually did. He showed me a photograph of a table, and he asked me if it is from. Can't remember. It's something like. I think he wanted to know if it is like somehow attached to a certain address, and I looked up the furnitures, but he never returned to me, and the table was definitely not from that address.
Do you happen to have that photo and the information about the table still?
Let me see. Can I get you something?
Just that information. I mean, I have more questions after that. Do you,
Yes.
for example, while you're thinking, while you're looking that stuff up, maybe you can think about this. Do you know anything about the Wheeler furniture or the Wheeler estate?
The Wheeler estate. I think that was what he was asking. Was it from the Wheelers? Like, is the furniture attached to the Wheeler family? That was what he asked, and I could rule that out.
So the picture of the table has nothing. The table he asks you about has nothing to do with the Wheeler family.
Nope. That
Okay.
I don't know where he got it from. It some kind of flea market or something. It was pretty crappy, to be honest.
So keep in mind, I'm not from around here. Who are the Wheelers?
Donnelly told me that the Wheelers were the original owners of the property he was talking about. I think it was
Spooner Avenue?
Oh, Spooner Avenue. That's it.
Okay. So did he happen to say anything about them? Did he ask you to do any research that gave you any information about them?
Yeah, he was asking for furniture that the family had sold in the 50s, I think. I started my research. I never heard from him again.
Okay.
That was like a couple of days before he took his own life.
Well, once again, we're investigating how he died. I'm not prepared to. All I'm prepared to say is that we're reasonably sure he's dead.
Yeah.
Did you stop the research at that time when you heard about his death? Do you have any of it still around?
Well, she goes back to she goes to a back room, and like a couple of minutes later comes back with a photograph and like a file.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I was starting to look into these the furnitures. The only thing I found was a piano, I think, but I stopped my research. I'm sure there must be more of the old furniture.
Right. So Miss Tucker, I have a couple of favors to ask, if I may.
Well, we are in the same team, and she winks.
Yes. First of all, could you resume your research and let me know the moment you find anything, even if it seems trivial?
Mm-hmm.
And the second, and I'm sure that I probably don't have to say this, but we never had this conversation, correct?
Who are you again?
Precisely.
Well, I mean, honestly, who are you? Like, how should I address you? Do you have like a code name or something?
Why don't you you can call me Moss.
All right, Moss. And she smiles, and you get like a flirty feeling from her.
I wink.
Can I call you? Do you have a number?
Oh, yes, and I write it down for her. And please do call the moment you find anything. As I said, even if it seems trivial. With these things, we never know what details are going to actually matter.
And she leans in and says, I will call you. Trust me.
I'll look forward to it.
All right. Let's go to Professor Yarrow. You can also look him up on the internet, and it is like Agent Milk would know, a pretty dodgy college that is not renowned. I mean, parapsychology is not a subject that you normally can study or teach. And so you need to drive for like, it is another town. You need to drive for like 2 or 3 hours. So by the time you're there, it's evening.
Can I make a thought on that? Is maybe we would just call if we realize it's that far away?
That's definitely possible. You can call.
Yeah, I think maybe we just have like a conference call in the car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably still maybe even on Spooner Avenue or in the area somewhere. You didn't drive there, but checked like where would you be?
Yeah, I think we pulled into a park driveway so that no one will bother us, presumably.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody answers the phone saying, Professor Yarrow? Who I'm speaking with?
Yeah, I'll look to Milk to do the honors.
Hello, this is Harold Milk. I'm following up with the work a friend of mine may have been working with you, and we're trying to follow up on his research.
Mm-hmm. Well, what is this regarding? About?
This is regarding your recent collaboration with... I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name of the dead guy. What was that?
Donnelly.
Donnelly? Your recent collaboration with Donnelly?
Dr. Donnelly doesn't ring a bell. Where's he teaching?
Oh, he's not currently teaching. We just... we were going through his notes, and we had found some records that he had consulted with you about the recent house, and I give him the address of the location.
Well, out of character, I think. Where did you get that from? That that he contacted?
Oh, I'm just guessing. I mean, I assumed that they'd... I mean, didn't the briefing said that the parapsychologist was a friendly?
He is a friendly, so that you can theoretically contact to get information. Like, because A-Cell probably thought it would be an interesting, source of information.
Oh, okay. I thought he was working with Donnelly. On
Maybe
this
maybe
guy.
you confuse him with Yari, Isari, the woman who bought the house. That was mentioned in the notes.
Okay. In that case, I'll use some like code name to get him.
Mm-hmm.
Let him know.
Oh yeah. You're calling because of Mr. Green.
Yes, exactly.
Of course, Dr. Green, a good friend of mine. Well, if you want to, we can meet up in person. Well, where are you at?
We're on Spooner Avenue. Give him the address. We're looking into a local house here that's come up in our research.
I'm intrigued. I adore Dr. Green's work for years now, and I'm really happy to help. Maybe tomorrow?
Sure, yeah, that could work.
You're muted.
I am?
Sorry, Justin is.
Hello, Doctor. This is Mr. Moray. We'd be happy to meet you. Here, I'd like to give you this address, and if you are able to come by anytime before the hours of 10 a.m. tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
we'd be happy to talk with you and share some information. And I'll give them. Go ahead.
Checking my notes, I do have classes on apparitions tomorrow. So let's say afternoon.
Well, what if we sat in?
Well, I would be honored.
And then we could talk after the class?
Yes, perfect. And he gives you the address of the college.
Thank you. All right. We'll see you then.
Okay, he hangs up. Let's see. Do you meet up again at the motel, or what is the plan?
I think that's where I would go back to share information and inform Agent Moss that we have a class to attend tomorrow morning.
Fantastic. I'm already there because, talking to Tucker didn't take long and I didn't make any unexpected detours.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of sitting in there, probably playing solitaire, 52 card pickup, maybe just like drinking coffee, playing cards at the wall or whatever.
Yeah, it's late afternoon when Agent Milk and Agent Moray enter upon Moss playing solitaire. And I assume that you exchange information?
Mm-hmm. I'd leave out the bit about being flirted with, but, all the mission relevant stuff.
And the part of visiting Spooner Avenue is obviously also left out.
I'll say we did some neighborhood interviews. And I'll share the information about the town elder, so to speak, and how maybe we have a few, we're going to meet with the next expert tomorrow morning. So maybe we should visit this person and name drop, the name that we found on the coffin, as well as some other names, and see what this person knows.
Why not? I haven't done something that seemed like a horrible idea in at least 15 minutes.
So is that an early evening then for you? And how does it, is it like with the Waltons where you say good night, Agent Moss, because you do share the same room?
Oh, I thought we were going to go talk to Klusky.
Yeah, that's the thought, is to
go tonight.
Yeah, tonight.
All right, so you drive.
I'm saying it's late afternoon, so we'll be there in early evening.
Yeah, that's true. And old people, they never sleep actually when they're really old. At least not at night. So you drive up to you again. It's the age of the internet. You can just look her address up. and it is on the back road of Spooner Avenue. It's a valley road. And when you ring a woman in her 40s opens, she has like the attire of a nurse, and she says, "Can I help you?"
Hello. We came by. We have some questions to ask. Sorry, what was her name again?
Yeah, she is called Klasky, I think. Yeah, Mrs. Klasky.
To ask Mrs. Klusky, we just want to chat, have a conversation. We're tourists in this area, and we're doing some research for a book. I'll give the other two a look, and we'd like to see if they'd be willing to share some of their expertise, so to speak.
Oh, Mrs. Klusky is really sharp, and she would love to talk to you. I mean, it would have been like awesome if you would have called, so she would have, normal clothes instead of a pajama. But yeah, well, I will ask her. Please wait here. And she closes the door in front of your nose and returns back like 10 minutes later or something, like an improbable long time later, and says, "Yes, Mrs. Klusky is now ready to see you. Please come in." And you go to it's a front room. There's like an ancient woman. She is in her 90s. She has very like this very, very dry, almost paper-like skin. She has a like a quilt over her legs, and she beams a smile at you, and like with a bit shaky hand ushers you to come closer. "I'm not hearing so well."
Hello, Mrs. Klusky. I'm Mr. Moray. This is Mr. Moss and sorry, Mrs. Moss and Mr. Milk, and we're here to do some research for a book. We understand that you have lived here a long time.
Very long time.
And you probably have all kinds of stories to share, and we have some information here we'd like to maybe get the local perspective on.
Oh yes, I can tell you everything. The war was terrible, but then we had real men, and now, and she looks over to Mr. Klusky, who is, is there Mr. Klusky? Let's say there is. Well, then we had real men fighting in the war.
I fought in a war, Mrs. Klusky. That's in Iraq.
Yes, but real wars against the bad guys.
I will stifle some negative feelings there.
Well, please, what you don't want to hear me talk about the war. What do you want to know?
Well, we have a few questions for you about some individuals. In one of our stories has to do with a young girl who lived, and then I'll rattle off the information we have on the girl in the coffin.
Anton Touré is a boy.
Oh, the boy in the sorry, I couldn't tell.
The Tourés. Well, yeah, okay. So you want to know about the Tourés?
Yes, we would. Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me think. That must be in the 50s. I don't know. Yeah, there was the. Let me think. Oh, it was this terrible accident. I remember in the 60s, wasn't it? The boy. Oh my God, he drowned, and the family moved away. It was terrible, terrible.
Yes, we'd heard about, we read the obituaries, of course. Can you tell me anything about the family that you remember? Were they good people?
Oh, very good people. Very good people. It was such a tragedy. I think didn't the woman, I think she went to the asylum then, and then they left the country shortly after that.
Yes, I imagine losing a child that young would be quite the toll on someone.
Oh, poor Rebecca. Yeah, I remember.
Can you tell me, where did they live at that time?
They lived in that, and she stops. She lived in on Spooner Avenue.
Oh yes, that house. We've heard many stories about that place.
You see her tightening up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But we don't have
charming demeanor vanishes a little bit. And she, what do you do?
I'm not sure how long this has been going on, but we were actually by the neighborhood earlier today, and the people are telling a few, I guess, ghost stories have cropped up around the house. Have those been going on very long? I'm just curious.
She makes like a gesture as if to swap away flies or something, but she doesn't say anything. Make a persuasion roll, so to speak.
All right.
So you roll with your expertise, and I think you're an anthropologist, so I think you know people.
Oof, I got a 3.
As your best roll?
Yes.
You could re-roll.
Could use the dark die, couldn't he?
You can re-roll with and add a dark die as well.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll do that.
Yeah, you should do that. I'm not sure if it sounds good, but yeah.
I got a 5.
Nice.
Dark
And
die is a
dark die?
1, so nothing changes, I think.
So she, she grabs your hand and pets it, and she says, "My young friend, sometimes there are places where God is not, places that God left. And I feel this is one of these places." And she comes a bit closer. "Don't go there, my friend. You're so young. You have your whole life before you."
Thank you, ma'am. I thank you very much for the warning. What is it? What? Can you tell us any more?
It's a bad place.
Was it bad before he died, or after, or what? What happened?
It has always been bad. Always. Ever since that sewing lady moved in. Ever since Mrs. Wheeler got better. She was very ill, very ill. And after her husband died, there was no one to protect her. And then all the foreigners came.
I'm sorry, did you say Wheeler, ma'am?
Yes. Mrs. Wheeler, she had the wasting sickness. She couldn't leave the house. But somebody cured her.
Ma'am, this may sound like a very odd question. Do you remember anything about the Wheelers' furniture from that time?
The furniture, I don't know. She never left the house after the accident, like after her husband died.
Her husband died in an accident, you say?
Yes, he worked at the, didn't he build that he did build that house, didn't he? Yeah, and there was a stone falling on his head or something, a terrible accident. But after that, she was not the same.
And you don't remember anything like people coming in to purchase furniture, or maybe a moving company taking the furniture away, or any kind of estate sale, or?
I think it must be in 55 maybe. Was it in 55? In the 50s. They when she died, I think they sold all the. I think that didn't. I think Doherty or whatever his name is, he moved in then, and then he bought his own furniture. As far as I know.
You said Doherty?
Yes.
How long did he live there?
There must be not long. Nobody lives long in that house.
You mean they move out?
Well, with their feet first.
So when you say nobody lives long in that house, you mean people frequently die in that house after a short period of time?
And she grasps her. She has like a wooden cross, and she says, I'm really tired now. Can you please leave me alone?
Thank you for your time, Miss Kleski. You've been very helpful.
Yes, thank you. Much appreciated.
Yeah, and the nurse brings it to the door. And by now, I think it is, proper evening.
I think I'm going to suggest that we go back to the motel. On the other hand, and I'm going to...
It is dark, and we could take a look at it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And I'm just going to say, can we try to burn it down yet?
Not yet.
Look, I know kill it with fire isn't the answer to everything, but it is the answer to some things. And it certainly seems like this is one of the things that it's an answer to. I'm just, again, want to go on record.
I mean, at the very least, it doesn't sound like the town would miss it.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And I think that the town might actually throw us a parade. But, yeah. So, shall we go look at this? Well, death trap, death house, hell house? I mean, what do you even want to call it?
I think the house is fine.
Fine. Shall we go take a look at the house.
I think that's the next step, yeah.
I'm glad to see you're less enthusiastic about this, Agent Milk. I was worried about you. So I'm feeling a little bit better about you now. I kind of like your chances. I think Horst may have dropped out.
Looks like it. I'm sure I'll be back shortly.
Ah,
I was listening. You actually going to the house, which is super cool news.
Yeah, I'm
Or
excited. Agent Moray is excited to take, because much of the conversation talks about how creepy it is at night, and I want to see that and take pictures of that as well.
obviously,
Yeah.
the right decision. So Agent Moss is not taking any kind of gasoline with her.
I've been told no.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, from where you are, from Valley Road, you can just walk to Spooner Avenue, and the house itself obviously lies in darkness. The curtains are drawn. I assume that you all have some kind of flashlights with you. And do you enter from the front or from the back?
Who said anything about entering?
Oh, you're going to the house.
Yeah, I'm gonna be taking pictures that kind of duplicate what I did today, but this time I have a night vision equipped camera.
Ah, okay.
Do we know if anybody lives there presently?
It doesn't look like it, to be honest, because, as I said, the front lawn is pretty high. The grass is pretty high. It hasn't been taken care of. Yeah, so taking you take proper pictures, not with your Polaroid.
Yeah, exactly. Does this require a roll?
I don't think so. Like you're not trying to make spectral photography or something, or are you?
I think I am.
Okay. Then you have to roll your dark die, obviously.
Yes, I will roll it. Oh, I got a 3 on the dark die.
Is that the highest?
That's the only one I rolled, because I figure spectral photography isn't exactly in anyone's human ability.
That is true. So
Is
we
that-
don't know. Maybe if you look on the, if you develop the film later on, who knows what you will see.
Okay.
What is the rest doing? Like, while Agent Moray is taking artistic photographs.
Milk is going to try to peer in through the windows, stay outside the house, but look around as much as he can inside.
Mm-hmm. And from where do you enter? Oh, no, not enter, sorry. From where do you peek inside?
Just any window. Look through all the windows, I guess.
And in the meantime, where is Agent Moss?
Wishing I had gasoline.
Yeah, okay. Where do you stand when you wish that?
I'm leaning against a car watching these. Just like guys, come on. We know we're just gonna burn the fucking thing down. Why are we doing this? I mean,
so Agent Milk, you you go around the house, trying to look with your flashlight into the window, and when you're at the let's see, at the front door, you hear faint music.
Any of you guys hear this?
So the others are, Agent Moss is around, is at the car. Agent Moray is on the side taking photos. So you are the only one who can potentially hear it because it's pretty soft.
I'm gonna, I guess, take out my phone and just start recording.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get it, try to follow the music, staying outside, but try to like get as good an idea as I can about where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely the window to the right of the front door that where the music is coming from.
I'll go find the others and like tell them everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll regroup. I think I asked you, what did it sound like?
Music. Yeah.
So it was a classical piano piece, and it goes like this. Roughly. I mean, are you guys interested in classical music? Would you recognize the piece, or are you more into like pop music or rap or something?
I think there's a chance that Moss might recognize it, but probably because she's heard it kind of filtered through a jazz composition.
Mm-hmm. So if Agent Milk plays the music back, and there's actually fine piano, what's it called, like soft piano music that can be heard. You recognize it as the Mondschein Sonata by Beethoven, a pretty, popular piece, and not particularly like played obviously by an amateur.
So, Moray, Milk, I just kind of want to point something out here. That house looks empty as fuck, and there's music coming from it, and I think we should burn it down. I mean, if you're catching a theme here, it's because an empty house should not have music coming from it. This is bad. We know this is bad. Moray, you should know this is bad even more than Milk. Milk, no offense, but you like to run off and to look at things and to be curious and fascinated, and that will get you killed very quickly in this line of work. Moray, you have stayed alive long enough to know this is bad. This is not good. This is in no way good. I don't know what you want to do.
Look,
you know where I stand on it.
It's not good, but I mean, what's the worst that could happen? We're not in the wilderness. We're in the middle of town. Anyone could wander in here. If it weren't us, it would be some homeless person looking for a night's shelter. We've got to figure out what's going on here.
Moray, you've been in this long enough to know never to ask what's the worst that could happen. We all know what some of the worst things that can happen are. We don't know what the worst is because, well, when we find that out, usually we don't come back to tell people. So are you suggesting that we head in there?
Look, you're right. You're right. There are some pretty terrible things that could happen. But I know that one of them is we set fire to this house and we burn some squatter alive who wandered in and fiddled around with the piano. That's the worst that could happen.
I'm just going to go ahead and say this because clearly I'm the asshole here. I'm okay with that outcome. It's not that I want to kill innocent people who just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, but you know that is a side effect of the work that we do, and it is not uncommon. Just saying. If you want to go in and find out, I cannot believe I'm about to say this. If you want to go in and find out and investigate, I will have your 6. But I will not be happy about it. And if anything goes sideways, I am going to tell you about it at length later, and you will never hear the end of it. Is that a fair deal?
I have 6 words for you. I'm not afraid of no ghost.
Oh, Christ. Y'all are going to get me killed. Or worse. And at this point, death actually doesn't seem like a terrible outcome. Fine. Do we actually want to give Milk a gun on this one, or do we recognize that he probably shouldn't have one?
Does Milk have a gun?
No, Milk did not bring one. I mean, I could use one of the shotguns, but
I'm just saying, you and I are trained. You and I both know what we're doing when it comes to weaponry, so it might be a bad idea to give him one at this point. We don't have any holy water, do we? Nothing like that? No crosses that we can give him just to make him feel better? Not that any of it works, but
I don't need a comfort animal or whatever. We can just go in.
All right. Let me just grab this shotgun here and make sure it's fully loaded, just in case.
I hand Milk one of those disposable cameras that were ubiquitous about this time, and I just tell you to just snap whatever, anything that looks interesting. Okay, we'll be right there.
All right then.
Okay. If this there's the loading of guns I hear.
Just feeding shells in.
Yeah, I load my sidearm. I make sure my sidearm is ready.
I mean, if this were a dungeon crawl, I would ask for the marching order. And you don't fit side by side through the door in any case. So
Moray, it's Moray's idea, so he'll take the lead and he'll be happy to.
Let's do this tactically. I'll crouch down at the doorway with the shotgun at the ready. So I'm under your line of fire. You open the door, and I'll sweep left.
Roger.
Okay, so the door is locked.
I'm sure Moray has something in a sports bag.
Yeah, I definitely do. I don't think I picked the lock or anything, but I think I have the crowbar I had from earlier. Will make short work of this. Probably pretty simple door lock.
Definitely, it's an old door. You crack the door open, and so the way I see it now, Agent Moss, enters. Was that the plan?
Yep. First through the door, shotgun at the ready, sweeping left.
So you are in a let's see. You are in a super cramped foyer, and you point your shotgun, probably with a flashlight on top, against the wall.
Mm-hmm. Sweep forward through the foyer into the den.
So on your right, before you enter the main room, on your right there is a door, and then next to the door is which is I think is not a door. I'm sorry, it's like an archway into the dining room. Next to it is a small closet with a mirrored door, and the door is slightly ajar. And then there's the archway to the central room. But you go straight forward, I think.
I pointed
And-
the archway and the door to Moray.
Right.
Yeah, you do see the layout, by the way, in the folder with the pictures. So there's the foyer, and you know, like Agent Moss. I think you're standing in that archway. I think. Is that true?
I'm going forward into the den.
Oh,
Yeah.
into the.
And I think I will follow suit, checking the right. So long as the door is closed, it's probably not much of an issue. But I'll follow behind and invite
Yeah.
Milk to come with us.
I'll bring up the rear.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Agent Milk, when you enter and you have a quick look at the room to the right, you do hear like maybe like a muffled whimper. It's as if, you know, in the middle of the room there are a couple of boxes, you know, like when you are moving, and from that boxes there is this sound of, could be a cat.
You guys hear that, right?
I think the others don't hear it. The others are already in the den.
I'm getting what sounds like a cat in one of these boxes. You know, get those guns ready, and I'll open it up, I guess.
I'm already moving to the hallway on the left where the bedrooms are.
I'm gonna turn back to Milk and I say, Milk, follow us. We'll worry about the details after.
All right.
We need to sweep the
follow.
house. Yes.
So you're moving to let's see. You're moving to the
Hallway on the left where the bedrooms are.
yeah. Oh, hallway to the left. Okay. Just give me a second. I thought you were going right. So there's this pretty long hallway with a couple of doors. There's a door to the left of you, a door in front of you, and two doors to the right. Let me see.
How about this? If there's nothing narratively interesting about the bedrooms, can we just say that we sweep the hallway, like all the rooms, they're all clear, etc.?
That is not what's happening, though.
Okay.
Because the house, like, first of all, there's this weird, like, when you entered the house itself, it's an old house, so it has kept the warmth of the summer, and there's this slightly higher, like, air pressure. You have the feeling, they left a little bit the feeling as if you are like underwater or something, and the warmth contributes to that feeling. And you definitely get some kind of, it's just like an oppressive weight everywhere in the house. And it's an old house, so there's creaking from everywhere. And Agent Moss, when you are the first in the hallway, you definitely so you hear something, which is, which room is this? Yeah, you hear from behind you. So the what's on the map is bedroom 1. A clattering, you would say. Something clatters to the ground.
And which bedroom is this? Bedroom 1, you said?
Bedroom 2, I think.
Okay.
I have too many windows open as usual. Yeah, bedroom 2. So if you enter the hallway, it's directly to the left.
I pivot, point my gun at the door, look to Moray, make sure he's ready.
Yeah, I'll nod to you.
Okay.
Who's entering?
Let's see. I'm as weird as it sounds, I'm going to push forward into bedroom 3.
Mm-hmm.
And when I get in there and I make sure that there's nothing obvious that is a threat, I'm going to turn around and then open the door to bedroom 2 and then take and assume cover behind that wall right there by the door in bedroom 3, where I still have, I can still see into bedroom 2 and I can cover the angles there.
And I'll cover you from the door to the den.
Yeah, when so you hear that clattering noise from bedroom 2, but when you enter bedroom 3 quickly, in the cone of your flashlight, you see, if you sweep through the room quickly, you see a figure walking through the room from 3 to 2, and it is about maybe 4 feet. It's the figure of definitely a child that moves quickly.
Going from bedroom 3 to bedroom 2?
Excuse me. Standing in bedroom 3 is a figure. What do you do?
How is the child dressed?
In like a marine look. It has this sailor, you would say, uniform, and it's
wearing a sailor uniform.
Mm-hmm.
I pull the trigger.
So the others hear the shotgun ringing through the house, and Agent Moss, obviously there's no figure in the room, and there's now a huge hole in the wall where you shot at.
How stressful do you think that would be?
I think this is worth a stress roll,
Mm-hmm.
or increasing stress by 1.
Yeah. Well, Justin, let's get your expertise. Do we roll?
Yeah, so in situations that would just be inherently stressful, like maybe even if success isn't an issue, we might still need to roll to see if we do keep our composure.
Right.
So generally, the GM, the handler would decide that, but players can also say, if it's, especially if it would particularly be disturbing to that character, can decide to roll a dark die just to see if they are affected as well.
All right, so I just roll the dark die.
Yep.
Yeah, the dark die is a 4, so I guess I'm a little more stressed now.
Yeah, and so when you shot at the figure, it seemed to move towards you, and in the light of the muzzle, you can see it approaching and then disappearing. And it was definitely a small boy. In the meantime, Agent Moray is in the den, and where's Agent Milk?
Probably in the den too, I guess, just kind of tagging along behind Moray. Yeah,
you still hear the cat meowing, and it's like a whimpering, pretty, I don't know, like a heartstring. It's a sound of a cat in distress. And I'm not saying that because I just saw a cat on your lap. It's actually in the scenario.
You can't hear that? I swear there's a cat or something. I mean, are there any like creatures that make
Milk.
cat noises?
Focus.
How is the rest reacting to the fact that Agent Moray is discharging a shotgun?
Agent Moss, but yes, I think I yell like, "Moss, are you okay in there?"
Yeah. Saw something. You know that goes on these jobs. It came at me and it vanished, Moray.
Well, it sounds like it can't hurt you now.
Well, unless it's behind us. But,
It's not. It's not. You can be sure of that.
It was, Moray was a kid in a sailor suit, about 4 feet tall. Standing there. Pulled the trigger. It came toward me and vanished.
Well, I think we know who that is.
Yep. So I'm not prepared to say Anton Torre is not dead, but I am also not prepared to say that he's not alive. Because living things don't do that.
Well, it's up to if he is dead, it's up to us to find out what happened. So let's just see if there's anything we can grab from here.
And then get the hell out.
Exactly.
You're checking the other rooms from that hallway first?
I'm thinking we actually want to check out bedroom 2 now.
We do.
So that's the room where you heard the noise.
Yeah.
But it looks completely empty. As all the rooms are. So this is an empty house. The only place that that has like furniture is actually the den, which I forgot to mention. In the den there is like a plastic tarp or something put over furniture that has been put together. And then the boxes in the dining room, and the other like the bathroom to the left. It does have it does smell a bit moist, as if it does actually smell as if somebody had taken a bath like maybe half an hour ago. So there's still moisture in the air, and like a smell of soap. And then bedroom 4, the last room on the hallway, is empty as well.
Well, shall we see what's under this tarp here?
Yeah, if you
I'm ready.
All right, Milk. Moray and I both have our shotguns pointed aimed at this thing. So why don't you move the tarp so we can see what's underneath it? And move away quickly, please.
All right. I move the tarp and get out of the way. Try to clear the line of fire.
So under the tarp, as I said, like the furniture of the last resident, you would assume. There are actually a couple of old styrofoam cups filled with rancid coffee on one of the tables. And that's what you see.
Gross. Okay.
Yep. I mean, who doesn't finish their coffee? I mean, this is a sign we're clearly not dealing with anything human here.
And then if you move, so there's also this big fireplace. There's the door to the backside, to the back porch. And then if you move further into the house, there's like pretty old, almost you would say from a kitchen from the 60s. So like ancient kitchen furniture, a super old refrigerator, and it does look as if nobody has changed the furniture in the last 50 years. And from there to your right, there is stairs leading upwards, and to the left there is you have the feeling like shining your light over the door that to the left there's like a new addition to the house. It does look as if it is not built in the turn of the century or something, but rather probably in the 50s or something. So where do you go?
I actually might suggest we check upstairs before doing the rest of the house. That way no one can sneak down and behind us.
Fine by me, but you're going up the stairs first this time.
Fair's fair.
Milk, you're in the rear again.
Oh, I'm taking up the rear for the first time. Oh, you're taking the Milk. Never mind.
Yeah, sorry.
I guess I'll go in the middle then. Yeah.
Okay. So then it would be Agent Moray, actually. You see, like before you leave the kitchen, you see something sitting on the the kitchen table, reflecting the light of your flashlight.
Milk, take a picture of this.
I whip the camera around and try to snap a picture of whatever it is.
Yeah, in the flashlight of the camera, you can see that it is like an old-timey straight razor, and it is what's it called? Flipped open.
That's interesting, huh?
Leave it be.
And you move upstairs. Agent Moss, you're the first entering the room, I guess.
No, that would be
taking point this time.
Yeah.
Oh, also, sorry. Agent Moray is on point.
Mm-hmm. So I make sure that everyone's in position, and then I advance up the stairs. It looks like it leads into a hallway. So whenever I enter into the bonus room, I'll kind of sweep left and right, and then get up against the right hand wall to cover the room.
So it's how tall are you?
Let's say 6'1".
Yeah, for you, you need to actually crouch a little bit. Like you can't walk straight. It is pretty like pretty low ceiling. It's
Is it
not
equaled attic space kind of a thing?
Yeah, exactly. So it has the you know the roof is slanted. Is that a word? And when you enter the room and look inside, there is so first of all there's a smell of paint and something other subtler underneath it. There is a couple of small boxes in the room. There's a recessed window bench, and in the middle there's an old there's a couple of house repair supplies and a rocking chair.
But nothing anyone could be like hiding behind or
No.
anything. Okay, that's good enough for me.
And then you return.
Yes, I'll just say it's all clear.
And so there's there's a door to the right, and the utility closet and the door to the bedroom in the back.
I'll open up the closet door really quickly to get a glance in there.
Yeah, when you open the door to the utility closet, it stings. So you haven't, which is a bit weird because I mean you have passed, you have approached the door, let's say, and there was no smell whatsoever other than the regular stale smell of the house. But when you open that utility closet, it stings as if something, rotten is there.
Do you smell that?
Yeah, that's
kind of hard not to.
Good.
Yeah, go on.
I think we need to investigate the closet to find the source of the smell for sure. It could be a dead body or something.
I aim my shotgun at the closet.
As you should. I need to find the green roll.
Moray, you and I should probably step back, set up firing positions. Milk,
don't shoot me, okay?
I'm not going to shoot you because Milk, we're going to ask you to open the door this time.
I figured. Milk, gets in close, tries to, opens the door real fast and get out of the way even faster.
Yeah, in the closet, there's just like the remnants of like food and small boxes, and there's just like people have obviously used that room as some kind of garbage bin or something. And that's it. There's nothing paranormal. It's just a smelly room. The only weird thing is that as soon as we close the door again, the smell is gone.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It seems like squatters to me.
This is violating most of the rules of physics that we know because smells don't just vanish.
I look at the door, like quickly examining like how much of a seal this probably like flimsy wooden door would create, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, this is not a airtight seal or something. It is, yeah.
And if
it's
it
just,
had been, we wouldn't have smelled it in the first place.
exactly.
Well, to the master bedroom.
To the master bedroom. The master bedroom is weird. Like when you open the door,
like everything else has been normal so far.
No, I mean like architecturally weird. The walls are completely encompassed by mirrors. It's like the mirrors are set into the walls, and there's also the window to the outside, obviously. And like from the look of it, the windows have been installed in the 70s.
So if we're standing in this room, can we basically see everything in this room at once?
When you yes, when you stand in the middle of the room, first of all, it's a slightly disorienting, almost ugly feeling. It's as if you're underwater or something. Everything is reflecting. Other than that,
the flashlights and the camera have got to be really
prominent as well. There's the reflection of your light sources as well. But there's also, I don't know, there's something fascinating about the room.
Moray, we should probably get back to back here so we don't inadvertently shoot each other.
Just aim your gun down, okay?
You know,
and I'd like to.
We could leave. We could just leave and just burn this place. I mean,
I'd like to go up to the bed and I look under it, and then if there's nothing there, I go to the different mirrors, and you said they're inset into the wall. They're not like hanging.
Yes, they are set into the walls.
Wow. Okay. Nevertheless, I'm gonna like touch each panel and see if anything's loose.
Yeah, you can check the window, the mirrors, and in the etching on the seams of each mirror, there is the year 1926 etched into it. But you cannot move them in any way.
These were all part of the original house, it looks like. 1926.
this house doesn't look like it was built in 1926.
No, you get the feeling that the house is a bit older.
Well, the redesign, maybe? This wing was added. That would be about the right time. Maybe what we're looking at isn't the original, people, but the people who moved in around this time.
You know, it makes me wonder if whatever affected the Wheelers was already here. If it wasn't something they did or that they brought with them, that it was just here already. Maybe it was in the ground that they built the house on. Maybe it was something that somebody did in some sort of ritual. It makes me wonder how long this thing has been here, whatever it is.
Well, hold on to that thought. We have a few more rooms to check.
Yes, I need to check something. Please give me a minute. I can't find where. There must be somewhere the room where Donnelly committed suicide, and you would find, you have checked all the bedrooms, I think.
Yeah, I think we haven't checked the bath or the closet in the master or the garage and the storage room. We haven't checked either.
Oh yeah, that's true. But let me search the. Hold on a second. I also would like to ask you, because we are running like 4 hours instead of 3.5. Is that okay for you guys to finish the house at least?
Yep, fine with me.
I can go for another half an hour to hour.
Oh wow!
It's a Saturday morning here.
How about Kyle?
I'd kind of like it if we could find like a stopping point
Yeah.
soonish.
Yes, just give me
That'd be good too.
Yeah. I'm good with hitting pause. I can also finish the house.
Yeah. Yeah, I will add the detail about Donnelly's, where Donnelly committed suicide. So when you're entering the garage, let's see, you can definitely see that there is an old refrigerator, like an ancient one, really old. Let's see. You can. So it's a 2-car garage. It has a 1970s garage opener. He is actually the fuse box for the house. So if you are planning to, put electricity on again, there's the fuse box, and there are a couple of abandoned garden tools. Yeah, and that's the garage. What do you do? Oh, you wanted to check the other rooms as well, I guess. So the master bath. Or do you do anything in the garage?
No, we're still sweeping, so it's a matter of checking the rooms rather than rummaging through them.
So who's entering the bathroom first?
Oh, what the hell? I'll do it.
When you're entering
This is the master bathroom, correct?
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you're entering the bedroom before you enter the bathroom, you seem to kick there must be a penny or something on the ground, and you can see it rolling over the floor. And if you follow that penny, it actually connects with the mirror and comes to a halt on the other side. So you can see the penny in the mirror, but not on the floor.
Did you see that?
So when the other two arrive, you two don't see that.
We just don't see a penny at all.
No, you don't see a penny.
Not even in the mirror?
Not in the mirror. Is that stressful?
You know what? Honestly, at this point, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because, I think at this point, Moss is just resigned and saying, we're
Something's
sweeping this house. Weird shit's going on. Moray doesn't seem to care.
I think in this case, I do put a hand on your shoulder and I say, "Do you need a break, Moss?"
I need to burn the house down, but besides that, I'm dandy. I'm okay. I'm good. Can we just get this fucking over with and get the hell out of here and set fire to this place, please? I mean,
I haven't seen anything yet.
Milk is seeing stuff. I just watched a penny roll across the floor into a mirror where it was visible on the other side, and it's gone now. I saw a 4-year-old in a sailor's outfit, or a 4-foot tall kid in a sailor's outfit. I mean, I'm glad you're not seeing anything. Really, I am. I mean, but for all I know, maybe the person who doesn't see stuff is the one who gets it. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's check the bathroom. Why don't we?
Yeah, you check the bathroom and the walk-in closet, and they're both empty. Nothing but the this old house smell and the slightly oppressing warmth of the stale air. And I think you have swept the house.
Did we hit the dining room where we heard the where Milk heard the noise?
Yeah. So when you return to the dining room, there is still this this terrible sound of a cat obviously in pain, and it's somewhere between the boxes.
All right.
Not our problem.
Well, one of us is going to make sure that they've got a weapon, or like loaded and sweeping, and then 2 of us are going to see if we can find whatever the hell is making that noise. Because we're here. Bad idea. But you're sitting here saying the rotting food could be squatters. I'm going to say this could just be a kitten. And if you're saying squatters could have gotten in, a kitten could have gotten in here. I am not the kind of person who's going to walk away from something that sounds like a kitten in distress.
What if it's like some kind of Schrodinger's cat thing? I mean, we're hearing it, so it's alive. We check it, it could just be a pile of bones.
If that happens, can we burn the house down?
At this point, yeah, sure. I mean, maybe it's for the best.
Right,
You know
Milk?
what? Yes. After we talk to the professor tomorrow.
All right, Milk, Moray, you good to, since you don't want to find the thing making this noise, I assume you want the gun?
Yeah, I'll cover you.
All right, Milk, let's do this. And I start rummaging through the boxes and like picking them up and gently moving them aside to make sure that whatever is underneath it doesn't get squished by shifting weight from boxes and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. So you remove the. Where's everybody else standing? So you're standing around, pointing the gun at the boxes, and Agent Moss is sifting through them.
I think I'm not pointing the gun at the boxes that they're handling so much as just keep observing the room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Milk doesn't have a gun, but do you point your camera at it, or?
Yeah, trying to document everything.
So Yeah, you remove box after box until you find one in the middle of the pile, like the last box, and it does sound as if like the more boxes you remove, the more the sound sounds like almost human. It's like, I don't know if you know, when cats are in heat, for example, sometimes it sounds like a baby or something. In this case, it sounds almost like the as if like a little girl or so cries, and you're super sure that the sound comes from this last crappy box. What do you do inside of that box?
Both of you ready?
Yep.
Just do the thing.
I open the lid.
When you open the lid, there is the box is filled with gore. It's center in the center, like there's like an identifiable rotting meat, and the stench is pretty horrific. And like out of this weird goulash of meat, there is the skull of a cat, freshly stripped of flesh.
Does the sound stop?
When you open the box, the sound does stop.
I'll roll a dark die there for some stress.
Sounds legit. How's Milk doing, by the way?
I guess I'll roll a dark die too.
I don't take any, so I think what it is I just like shake my head and I'm like, all right, let's better get that gasoline ready.
I kind of want to see if I can get any insight out of this.
Okay.
And so that's rolling all 3 dice, correct?
Justin, I would say
No. It's just I mean, you're trying to understand something from the situation? Is that the idea?
Like trying to figure it out. Like
so you ask the same questions that you would for any role, which is it within your occupation?
Yes.
Is it within human ability?
Mm-hmm.
And then do you want to roll a dark die? Now you say yes, but we do need to, the handler should consider whether the insights here are supernatural, in which case it probably is not within your profession and it probably is not within human ability.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I would actually agree.
Okay. So I will just roll the dark die then. I got a 1.
Which is you don't increase your insight, and it also doesn't add to your stress. So I think I mean, you cannot explain the sound coming from that pile of meat. Oh, obviously, if you want to have more information, you could re-roll.
Oh, what the hell? Let's have some fun. 4.
Ooh, maximum information. And you need to increase
stress and insight.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it actually increases the insight.
If you're rolling insight, it usually is stressful potentially, but not necessarily.
Yeah. So I would actually increase stress and insight if I were you. And
Done.
So I think what you can glean from the situation is, and you might, I mean, it's not a 5, I know, and it's not a 6, but you might remember like ritualistic killings that you have heard of seen before. And I mean, you can always try to explain it with hypergeometry, a way to, you know, appeal to forces outside of our normal space-time continuum. And you might ask, why would they be interested in, you know, in blood or in animal killings? But it might be the suffering that they enjoy. It might be the dedication that they enjoy. And with they, I mean forces that can be, I don't want to say manipulated, but maybe lured in or charmed by certain rituals. And this seems to be like an echo of a ritual that has happened. But it definitely confirms your suspicion that something about the ground, something about the house is somehow fallen out of, you know, our space-time continuum and is dedicated to something else. And
Okay.
I think that is maybe a good way to cut for today.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I will stop the broadcast.